Welcome to a new video of Vedic spirituality. My name is Madan Gopaldas. I'm the host on this channel, and today the topic of today's video is what have we lost. So in the last 4 videos, it is like a series and it builds on each other. We discussed about the essence of Vedic culture, and we talked about the differentiation between spiritual knowledge and material knowledge. Then we talked about the 4 modes of material nature and the division of society. So just to recap these things, the very essence of the Vedic knowledge is the Divya Gyan, the spiritual knowledge, and that is knowledge of the Atma, the soul, and Paramatma, the super soul, and their relationship. So that is the very basic of Vedic thought, and this Divya Gyan has to be distinguished from the material knowledge, the Chada Vidya, which is about knowledge of how to be healthy, how to be happy within the body and the mind, and that are topics like Ayurveda, astrology, and many different things that are discussed in the Vedas. But in Vedic society, they were divided by the priestly caste, the Brahmanas, I write it here, Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the administrative class, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. And the Brahmanas, and we discussed that how this Divya Gyan is the very core of all of the, is in the very center. So the Brahmanas, they are Brahmanas because they are holding this Divya Gyan within themselves and they're teaching others. That makes them to Brahmanas. The Kshatriyas, they are protecting everyone, that they will not be misled by ignorance, and they will be following the Divya Gyan. Then the Vaishyas, they are feeding everyone by cultivating the land and taking care of the cows and trading and so on. So in order that everyone is able to proceed in spiritual life and have a peaceful and prosperous life. And the Shudras, they were serving the other classes and getting benefit by that. So, so we can see that in the Vedic culture, this understanding of the soul and the need of the soul being connected to Paramatma is the very core and the very basis. And the whole society was revolving around that. So in a Vedic society, the main purpose is that all humans or all souls who have a chance to get a human body, they should use this chance to develop their consciousness and march towards liberation, which is re-establishing a relationship with the Supreme Consciousness. Yes. So, so what we have lost, so in the modern society, is actually exactly the opposite of the Vedic society. Because in Vedic society, everything is based on soul, everything is based on consciousness. And also the understanding of what is matter, what is this world, how this world is created, how this world is managed. In Vedic terms, everything is based on consciousness. So from, let's say here is Atma, and here is matter. So in Vedic consciousness, matter is always defined by consciousness. But in the modern society, it's actually opposite. There, they say matter defines consciousness. So they say, in the beginning was nothing, and then matter came, and matter evolved slowly to consciousness. But the Vedic paradigm is exactly the opposite. It says, in the beginning was consciousness. In the beginning there was the supreme consciousness, the Paramatma. The supreme consciousness was there, and we are also coming from him, and matter also comes from him, and everything manifests from him. It's like, I can also say devolve, but it's not actually a devolution. It is a manifestation. It slowly manifests. So from the consciousness, matter manifests. But in modern paradigm, from matter, consciousness manifests, which is a not proven fact. It is never proven in a laboratory that by connecting matter in a certain way, you can create consciousness. And the whole talk about artificial intelligence by computer is it's not going to happen, because intelligence and is a sign of consciousness, and that comes from the soul, from the spirit. It can never be created from matter. But that's just a side note. So so what is the repercussion, or what is the result of this difference of paradigm? So if we see it in an individual, like, let's see here, this is just a human being. So the human being has different levels of existence. One is the soul, the Atma, and one is the mind, like the subtle body, intelligence, mind, his identity, buddhi, mana, ahankar in Sanskrit. So his mind, and then his senses. So he has his eyes, the nose, the mouth, ears, hands, and so on. So it's like three levels of existence. It's the gross existence, the body, which is a it's all the senses combined, so to say. Then the mind and the intelligence, the subtle body, the psyche, and then the real source of consciousness, the real self, the eternal self. So in this individual, the eternal self is the self is eternal, and it takes up different bodies in different incarnations. So the subtle body changes and the gross body changes, but the soul always remains same. And the need of the soul is the very most needed thing. So if the soul is happy, everything else is happy. But the mind and the senses are happy, the soul is still starving. So the Vedic society is about the satisfaction of the soul, but in the material society, it is about the satisfaction of the mind and the body, and it lets the soul starving. So therefore, the more so-called advanced the society becomes, the more people become psychologically damaged. It is like a statistical fact that psychopharmaca is the most used drug in a so-called developed country. Why? Because the emphasis is so much given on only this matter, and the soul is completely disregarded. So therefore, though you do whatever, you have the best education, you have the best facilities, whatever, for your body and your mind, but the soul is starving, which creates just havoc in your system, because you are trying to, like if you have a cone, you're trying it to balance on the tip. If you're balancing it on the basis, it is very easy to have a balanced life. But since you try to balance it on the top, means from the senses you try to balance your existence, this is not going to work. So therefore, this ideology, modern ideology, which is based on matter, and matter leads to consciousness, this within the individual will create an unhealthy state, a state of dissatisfaction. And if it does in an individual, same it will do it in large. So therefore, in the Vedic way, everything was based on the soul, and leading your life in this way will satisfy you much. And if you lead the whole society in that way, you will have a very satisfied society. Another one thing what happens if you just focus on matter and not the soul is that your senses will become stronger than your mind, and your mind will become stronger than your soul. So whatever comes in your mind, if it's also something bad like anger and so on, you will not have control over it, and it will just go hither and thither, and then you have just a bunch of reckless animals. Then the society will become society of two-legged animals that cannot control their mind, cannot control their senses. And then what you have? You have a society that will definitely collapse after some time. Whereas if you have a society that is based on sense control and mind control because of the satisfaction of the soul, you will have a very peaceful, very highly advanced society. So therefore, what we have lost our focus, we have lost the knowledge of the soul, we have lost the knowledge how to nourish the soul, and that the soul is nourished by a relationship to the super soul. So we have lost that Divya Gyan, and the modern society is not anymore based on it. Therefore, it is just, modern society is just a two-legged animal society that is just prone to just end up in different types of wars, which is happening. So this is a short video on what we have lost. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in next time.